on it.
Well, can you,
We're live.
via email, you can send to my email right now? And
You're
that,
really pushing your luck. Let me try.
you take a screenshot of it and just text it to me, please? You're right about that. How do I mute if I have it mute? Oh, yeah. How do I mute if I have it mute? Nope.
Usually it pops up.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Did you send it to me? And
I
that,
did. I just sent it to you in a text.
okay. All right.
Got it?
No, but I'm fine. Jim, are we live?
We're live.
I can see everybody, so are you ready to go?
We're ready to go on this.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Keith?
We're ready.
Okay, good evening, everyone. For everyone, I believe everyone that knows who I am. I'm Phil Anthony, Chairman of Board of Licensing Commissioner. Tonight, this is a meeting for restaurants to go into discussion about outdoor seating and consumption of alcohol. This is all a new area for everybody, so you need to be patient with us as we need to be patient with you. If there's any questions or concerns, I would just say we respect each other and, I'm not saying it has to go through the chair, but, ask who you see fit for. I also have Annette, and of course I have Phil, Laura, my other member. So I'm going to turn it over to Attorney Keith Slattery, and he can give us updates on some regulations from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts ABCC Commission and Governor Baker, and then we'll take it from there and we'll go through any questions and concerns you have and what we would be expecting from all the establishments. So Keith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Keith Slattery, I'm an attorney for the city of Everett, and there was an application process. I know that's what brought you all here. Tony can speak more to the applications as we go on this evening. But as far as the regulations go, as we know, part of phase 2 has been authorized by the governor, and that commenced last Monday. That phase includes the reopening of restaurants, and that's allowing solely for outside dining in this part of the phase. Part 2 of phase 2 will further allow those openings to include indoor dining with a reduced capacity. The Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission, or what you guys know as the ABCC, has given advisories regarding these reopenings of restaurants as it pertains to the sale of alcohol outdoors. That advisory allows for an outdoor area that's contiguous with the indoor space that's cordoned off to supply alcohol to its patrons during this phase. All patrons must be seated, and the relaxed rules advised by the ABCC apply to the expansion of your existing license to these outdoor areas. That is, you to use your alcohol service as you had in the past and as was permitted or licensed before the shutdown, with the expansion being the physical outdoor space. So previously in phase 3, beer gardens, breweries, wineries, and distilleries have now been moved to phase 2. And that's with specific guidance handed down by the ABCC reading: establishments that do not offer seated table service or of food that is prepared on site under a retail food permit are not allowed to open in phase 2. We interpret that to mean that if you have a retail food permit already in place and you adhere to the other stated guidelines, that the additional part of the advisory requires plated meals to be offered at breweries and distilleries and beer gardens and wineries that originate from your establishment. The partnering with outside establishments such as neighboring restaurants appears not to be advisable at the time of this meeting. This may require a case-by-case basis determination, and that's what the application process is for. But our interpretation of this condition can include such offerings as hummus plates, charcuterie and cheese boards, and prepackaged meals. So really to kind of recap on the brewery and distillery part is a brewery would require, reopening would require a cordoned off seating area contiguous with your indoor space that served prepared food to seated customers. Of note, bars have now been placed in phase 4 for the purpose of this reopening. That's not what anyone's here for tonight, but I just wanted to make that announcement. Of course, this guidance is always fluid and subject to change. As such, rules may broaden or even become more restrictive as advisories get handed down, and we will make sure that we keep everyone informed of those. But please know that the mayor, the city, and the state government and agencies are all invested in as expansive and inclusive of an opening as possible. Phil?
Okay, so with that, we have an agenda, and I can take one by one what you're trying to do, and everyone's welcome to stay on and like Attorney Slattery said, let me also say that I have Jim Soper, Director of Buildings and Inspectional Services on the call, and Tony Souza, Director of Planning and Development for the City of Everett. So they've been very instrumental. Tony's been very instrumental in getting these applications moved about with Keith and Jim. So with that, everyone's welcome to stay on to hear what other people are doing. But once we're done with you, you're more than welcome to jump off the meeting. Okay. So what I can do first is I have Grill. John, if you want to give me a little understanding of what you're trying to do and how we can try to get you up and running. John, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. You're up.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Basically, we have a tent outside, and we had outside sitting at the patio. We just extended to the parking lot, and we met all the requirements, with the tent being all fireproof and all that stuff. I had building inspector here this afternoon. We had the fire department yesterday, and everybody's okay with what we're doing. So we just basically taking whatever we have inside to the outside for the meantime. Just a few tables, obviously.
So this, I don't mean to interrupt you. This goes across the board. Currently, right now, there's a 9 p.m. curfew. Okay, I want to get this out there. 9 p.m. curfew within the city of Everett. I know some establishments are, everyone should be closing at 9. No one has come to us and said, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts hasn't said, and correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, I don't think the restaurants and establishments are back to full tilt. Is that correct?
Well, there is a curfew in place. I think that's going to be altered fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, I don't know if you have any insight as to the permits for the restaurants, but I think Tony, as we all discussed, was for the first week, we were going to try to limit the timing and then make decisions further from there. Tony or Jim?
So a couple of thoughts on this. Originally, we were looking at 9 p.m. and perhaps something to consider with the license commission is, whereas the businesses have established business permits with hours of operation, whether or not that their indoor hours of operation should be the same for the outdoor. I offer that for the board to consider. That may vary, that may be case specific depending on where the location is, whether it's in a residential area or commercial area. We contemplated originally 9 p.m. But then through discussions further contemplate about being a little later. And then after thinking about it some more, perhaps having it consistent with with whatever their permit is on the inside, if you will, to allow it on the outside, but on a case-by-case basis. It's not all, not all outside areas are necessarily in commercial areas. Some may be, and I'm not commenting on necessarily on any particular one tonight, but some may be in residential areas, so you may want to adjust those. But I just wanted to share those thoughts, and those were some things we're thinking about. We've ideally we would see it as trying to marry the two together, but certainly it's for this board to consider.
Okay. So, John, why don't you tell me what are your thoughts, and were you planning to stay till 9, or were you looking for something later?
I'm looking for something later. And I got an email yesterday that says we have removed the 9 p.m. restrictions.
Where'd you get that email from?
Tony, right? Did you send
Yes.
me that email, Tony?
Yes, and with that as well, that the time could be adjusted as see fit by this board, by the licensing board.
Okay, so Phil, Laura, what are your thoughts and concerns? And this is not just for John. I think this is more, again, we're bouncing everything back and forth. What are your thoughts and concerns about times of operation?
Well, I think most of the businesses that are on today are in more commercial than anything else. The challenge will be is that when you have others that may be close to residential, it's tough to make, it doesn't look as good to say to some people it's X and then other people it's Y. It's also so new. I know that I drove around today and I noticed that a lot of people made a lot of efforts to try to secure the area, to make it, cordon off and stuff like that. But I just don't know. It's new to me. I'm afraid to give this time, a late time, with our first set of businesses. I know 9 p.m. seems a little early. I'm not one to rush to, let's say, 11 o'clock or something like that right from the get-go. I'd like to see if we can get it started, see how things go, listen to how things are going, and then kind of expand it out. I'm okay if we said 10 o'clock, but I would say be very careful, in my opinion, to jump to a later time until we see how this rolls out.
Okay, so in conjunction with Phil, and I always like to hear what there's only 2 of us. I think across the board, I understand everyone's been close for 12 weeks, and by no means of anything else, I want to see everyone be up and running and prosperous, and let the cat, as we talked about yesterday, let cash registers ring. I would say that we go with 10 o'clock to start and see where this brings us. There's a new whole facet about outdoor dining and outdoor seating and drinking outdoors. It's one thing to have, a village fest or a beer garden, but there's another whole thing of having, this is new. Besides, honestly, Fridays, having outdoor seating, there's nothing like this in Everett. So I think if we can go at it, I think we're going to be having these meetings regularly, and speaking with Jim and Tony and Keith yesterday about as guidelines change with the state, we need to be informative to all the businesses. So I would say at 10 o'clock, we kind of discussed it within City Hall yesterday, say 9 o'clock during the week and maybe 10 o'clock on the weekend. I'm willing to go 10 o'clock, Sunday through Monday, whatever your license is, if it's a 7-day or a 6-day license. So if we can do that, I'm okay with that. We can take a motion about that after Phil, but John, I'm okay with you opening in the parking lot. Like I said, as long as if you have a tent, it's been inspected by the fire department. Phil or Laura had some concerns, not just saying I'm not saying Village Bar and Grill, but people with the insurances. We got to make sure that whatever insurance binder is needed to identify the city of Everett, I want to make sure that's taken care of too. So Tony, you in agreement with that?
A few thoughts, Mr. Chairman. So with respect to the insurance, we do have the certificate of liability insurance from the Village Bar and Grill,
Okay,
and it's dated June 5th, 2020. If I may just, and I respect the board's, certainly the board's decision on the hours of operation, perhaps something to consider. To my knowledge, there has been some element of outdoor patio dining elsewhere in the city past prior to COVID. What I don't know from my bubble is what those hours of operation were, specifically thinking, for example, TGI Fridays over at the shopping center. I'm not sure if the outdoor dining was until 10 o'clock, again, prior to COVID.
I don't know that. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, to be honest with you, okay? I always say this, unless I have a report or there's a police report or a phone call made, I don't get the information as readily available. So point of Fridays, okay? Fridays has been operating like this for the past 13 years. And more than 13 years, probably 20 years that they've been down there, okay? And I got word that they're operating right now past the 9 o'clock curfew. I think we'll have to have a conversation with them. What is fair and equal for one person on the other side of the city is going to be fair and equal to them also. So I will make sure that we have the sworn agents from the police department pay a visit to Fridays, asking them to close at 10 o'clock. And we can go from there. Texas Roadhouse doesn't operate or hasn't operated with outdoor dining, and I don't know if they have plans to do that moving forward. It hasn't been brought to our attention yet.
Mr. Chairman,
We currently,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I said, can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
So, as far as Village Bar
Yes.
and Bone Up, the question I have, is that shared space, or do each of you have your own space in that area?
we each have our own space. We divide it in half. So
Oh,
we each
okay,
have our
okay.
own space.
All right. I was
There's a
under-
divider between my space, Village, and Bone Up.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Liz, are you on this call?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, and I don't mean to jump in, but with John being there and going back and forth with him, let me tie you into this also.
Sure.
The plan also is to offer service. It's supposed to be some type of food. Are you going to be bringing not taking food away from John? What's your plans and thoughts?
So we've had a food service permit for a couple years. We heat up things like soft pretzels, empanadas, stuff like that. That was going to be our food option. And we'll just be serving draft beer, flights, full pours, beer to go. Like John said, our space is totally divided right down the middle. Got about 6-8 tables out there right now. And we'll do complete table service top to bottom. We won't have people milling around.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
That answers my question. I mean,
Okay.
I just want to know, what we're doing there. Okay. Laura, do you have any other concerns or questions to Bone Up and or John Lopes of Village Bar?
Yeah, so as far as Bone Up, Tony, I didn't see any insurance, and I did not see any emails that an inspection or approval, or Jim also was done. Is everything okay with Bone Up?
So I was just texting back and forth with Martin, who was there today. So the permit for the tent has not officially been issued, but he just said he has a busy day, so he will issue that permit. However, it rained today. I think I'm up in Maine, so I guess it rained. It rained here, it rained down there too, and there was a collection of water that is at the basin that's in the middle of that tent. John, can you tell us how you're going to handle that situation?
Well, they did a dry well, about a year ago, a little less than that. They usually works pretty well, but we had a lot of rain all at once this afternoon, and it did put a considerable by a considerable amount of water on the ground there. But it's all gone now. It's all gone now. It usually, when we have a lot of rain like that, it usually within 20 minutes, half hour, the water goes down through the dry well. But
So
there
you
was a
can
lot.
kind
There
of
was,
see how that might be a health situation with possibly drivers going through the parking lot, causing a wake, or people sitting in that
Well,
area. So,
Jim, in all fairness, the water, unfortunately, the water goes towards the building, not where the cars are parked. It goes down to that part of the building, that part of the parking lot, I should say. You know,
sure. And,
like
you know, and I can just recollect that there was a planning board decision that's probably 4 years old, if not 3.5 years old, that required that stormwater drain to be connected to the stormwater out on Norman Street, and it still hasn't been. So, you know, this is something that I'm concerned that there's going to be a puddle in the middle of where people are eating now, and you're plating food.
well, if it rains this much, we wouldn't be able to serve out there anyways.
Okay.
I mean, Blown Up does not have a tent, so they're not going to be able to serve if it's raining. You know, if any rain comes, they won't be able to serve. And I don't plan, if we have rain, I'll just have to close down. I mean, we even though we have a tent, we still have to be outside, you know, carrying stuff. So I don't plan on being open. I mean, if it rains, we have to close. There's no other way.
Yeah. So what? Not so much that it rains; it's that if it rained this morning and that dry well doesn't, you know, receive the water and permeate to the soil, then you probably shouldn't be serving people food out there at that point.
And I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be if there's a puddle there. I definitely wouldn't be serving anything.
Okay.
You can't. I just couldn't do that.
Okay. And I agree.
The puddle is right in where the tent is, so
Right in the middle.
I couldn't. Yeah. So I couldn't have people sitting there. There's a puddle.
And you said something.
Like I said, when it rains this hard, the water will accumulate there. If it rains, if it rains normally, it doesn't accumulate. But if it rains this hard, it does accumulate.
Okay.
It creates a puddle.
Right. And this becomes a food and health inspection issue when that happens. And you said something interesting. You said that Bone Up does not have a tent. When I kind of reviewed both those applications, it appeared that Bone Up would be in the same location you were in, or proposing the same location that you were in. Is that the case?
Well, right next to us, but I don't know if they plan on putting a tent up. I don't believe they do.
Okay.
They don't have one right now. Liz, do you plan on putting a tent up?
We may do it at some point, but we're not planning on doing it this month. If we do, we would get in touch with you guys and file a permit for a large tent.
So the possibility is that you have a tent up, John, and right beside that, Liz has an outdoor area. Right beside that, it appears. Are the two going to be together? Are we going to eliminate more parking spots? How is that? Yeah, I think
Like we said earlier, it does a divider. Liz build a nice divider. We put some planters and Liz build a nice divider between us. Okay. So it's really, we have the distance, we have everything, you know, there's no way my customers can jump into her spot or area.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 4-foot tall pallet barrier in between the two spaces. They're very clearly divided. Each has its own entrance.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Tony.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, Director Soap, I didn't want to interrupt you. I thought you were finished. Go right ahead.
No, I think I'm just concerned about, Liz just mentioned something about a pallet barrier. I'm wondering how that pallet barrier is attached to the ground. You know, what will happen when a wind kicks up? Is that going to fall over? Can you expound on that, Liz?
Sure. We cut two 24-inch supports made out of 2x4s. We screwed them into the bottom. We have support braces, and they're all strapped together with metal brackets. They're not going anywhere.
Are they attached to the pavement at all?
They are not attached to the pavement.
Okay. Were they up today for my inspectors to see them?
They were completed yesterday, so yeah, they were up today.
So I'm going to text Martin right now and see if he saw them so that he was available to see those you're saying.
Director Soper, if I may, I was not there today, but I drove through there yesterday, and through you, Mr. Chairman, as well.
Yes.
Just to provide some update also. I did see the barrier, although I'm not an inspector. I did also note in the conditional comments, if you will, the 2 handicap spaces that were blocked by the tent. And I did take note this morning prior to the rain that they were in the process of relocating those. I don't know, Mr. Soap, if you had any updated comments with respect to that. I also I did not go down there this afternoon during the heavy rain, as we did have a significant amount of rainfall throughout the city. But one of the comments that came up through Board of Health was that should there be any pooling of water, that the applicant would be responsible to mitigate that, to brush that off, if you will. Whereas in prior, a large pooling of water would significantly occupy that area. It certainly wouldn't make any sense whatsoever to have the pooling of water there right within the table, the outdoor dining area. Absent of, again, I wasn't there this afternoon, perhaps someone from your team was down there and took photo. In the past, there has been pooling there, but as I understand, there may have been other improvements done to the surface to mitigate some of that in recent months.
I can tell you I was there yesterday and it wasn't raining, and I know that they over-coated the existing asphalt, but you know, it appeared to me that was a very low point where that drain is, where that storm drain is. And yeah, it's going to back up, and you know, you got to be careful there, John, because if you're serving and it's raining or it has rained, you know, we're going to empty the parking lot. That's what's going to happen.
Mhm.
So you don't want to be in that situation. Would it be better for you to push away from the building, perhaps, away from that, so that you kind of weren't seating in that area?
I mean, we would have to be in the middle of the parking lot. It would be a lot harder for us to serve. I mean, we're right next to a kitchen and bar door, you know, we just come down the ramp and right next to our patio, which we've been using for 2 years, you know, serving food and everything in our patio. So we do have experience of serving outside. I mean, if it rains, we're not going to be able to serve anything out there. I mean, it comes down to that. But to be away from the building was just be a lot harder for anybody, you know, for all our people to carry food outside, and you know, it wouldn't. I mean, we would have to carry food across the parking lot to get to any other location besides that, you know, against the building, which would probably create a health issue also, you know.
Yeah, I'm interested in the health issues that are going on here, because that standing water that you know, perks up from the soil beneath, and I don't know what's connected to, but you know, that's bothersome to us in the health department. So
well, the water doesn't come from the dry well. The water the parking lot pitches towards the building, and that water just comes that way.
right.
But it's not. I mean, it's rain water. It doesn't come from the ground up.
Yeah, and anything that's on the surface of that parking lot accumulates in that
Mhm.
water. So any
Right.
dog
Right.
that's been through there accumulates in there. So there's
Absolutely.
no
No,
way we can talk about it.
I completely agree with you. I absolutely.
So as long as we're on the
But
same
it's
page
something
with
that
that.
we have to if it rains, I don't know, maybe power wash the surface. I don't know. I mean, we can certainly do that.
You know, it should be as
service.
clean as what you have inside. There should be no loss
Mhm.
of safety, public safety when you go
Yeah.
outside. Okay.
I agree with you. I agree with
All
you.
right.
And we can put something in place as far as cleaning it every day and all that stuff, and power washing it, every other day, whatever, we'll figure something out as far as that. We can keep a log on, when we do the cleaning and all that stuff, just like we do the bathrooms,
Right.
We can certainly do that.
Okay, I'm done. I have enough. He's answered my questions.
Phil, does that answer your questions for Bone Up?
Yeah, I don't, well, other than, I haven't seen it fully set up. I don't think I have any issues. My guess is that there'll be additional inspections that are going to be done to make sure whether the rainwater or the pallets, the barriers that are the pallets. So as long as it's safe, I'm assuming, we can move forward with.
Did you want to schedule before we get up and running, or do you want us to move forward and then you can swing by at some point?
Mr. Chairman, through
Yes.
you, I think we'll be swinging by on a daily basis. If when we see a puddle there at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to be serving at 8 o'clock at night.
Well, that
I
be
mean,
good.
so because there wouldn't be a puddle in the middle of your, your dining area at 8 o'clock in the morning. So that's an issue for us, the health department. So if we have to swing by there on a daily basis and see what's going on before you open, whatever your opening time is, and we're probably going to say, and I'm sorry, you're not probably in that parking area but that floor is going to be as clean as the floor that's in your business. And if it's taking water off J&S and Son up the back landscaping with, because that's what's behind you, and that's all the stuff that's moving forward. It's sloshing into that, that's sheeting into that parking lot. This should have been all resolved 4 years ago, honestly, through the planning board, and it hasn't been. So here we are. So, and you want to serve people. So I'm apprehensive.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Director
Yes, Mr.
Soper, would you be comfortable if they did actually power wash, if they actually swept the pooling water on a daily basis? Would you be comfortable with that?
I'd be comfortable if it was clean. So like when we show up prior to them serving customers and it was clean, I'd be comfortable with that. But note the effect that has on, the public safety inspection of our community. We got to go down there every day. I guess so. We don't really have to do that with everybody else. I'm just letting you know. So we'll be down there, and if that's what we got to do, we'll go down there every day to make sure that you guys can stay in business. But I'm here to help you, but this has been lingering for a long time. So it shouldn't be as it is. That water should drain positively right out to the street, and it'd be all over with.
Okay, we were planning on doing a soft opening this Saturday from noon to 8. Did you want to come by at 11 a.m. and make sure it looks good?
I'm going to tell you what, my health inspector, I have to pay him 4 hours overtime for him to do that inspection. So not in this budgetary time for us. But I have people on. So, if you get your permit tonight, we'll be by when you tell us you're going to be doing the soft opening.
Jim, I don't have a problem paying, sorry to interrupt. I don't have a problem if I have to pay the inspector, the health inspector to come by. We need to open. I've been closing it all. You mentioned earlier, I know you understand this. We've been closed for 3 months, close to 3 months, 3 days shy of 3 months. And it's just costing too much money to keep this place closed. We need to do something. I mean, if we can't have this outdoor dining, might as well just close the doors. It just is costing too much money to stay open. And I know it's not nobody's fault. And it just, I'll do whatever it takes to get this done. If we need to power wash the ground, the pavement every day, I'll power wash, whatever it takes to do it. But I need it done.
So
If I have to pay a health inspector to come by, I'll pay for the health inspector. I just need, we just need this to be done.
I'm gonna, John, from our standpoint, and you know, and all due respect to Jim, the licensing board is going to allow you to operate. Okay. I concur with Jim. This is what I will say. This is outside of my parameters, and I'm stepping outside the gray area, and I'm not going into a dissertation. Okay. This comes down to, again, when things are put in place and they're not followed through. I'm not knocking the building department, but like Jim says, here we are 3.5 years later, something was done. We have this pandemic, and now we're talking about pooling water tonight. What he's saying is concernable. This food, let's see if it rains. John, I would say you're 100% right. If it's raining, you're not opening. You couldn't have the.
No, I'm not.
Not
I couldn't
Jim
do it.
Soper, he's in Maine today, and maybe he got the rain that we got. Jim, if you were here today, lights out. It was 45 minutes. You couldn't even go outside. The rain was, and you're not recovering from that. So if you get rain like that on a Friday or a Saturday, it's lights out. We'll see you the next day. Okay?
Absolutely.
Cooling water. Forget about anything else. You won't be able to operate.
No, absolutely. I totally agree with you, and I have absolutely no problem with that. And I mean, we wouldn't be able to, even if we tried.
Sure.
I mean, if we had rain, even half of the rain that we had today, we wouldn't be able to operate anyways. I mean, you wouldn't be able to be serving food.
Who's coming out? No, let's like you just said. I mean, we can talk about this for the next 3 hours. At the end of the day, everyone's trying to open up. Everyone's trying to operate. On the flip side, no one's going out in the rain to go sit outside and to even get drips on you. Never mind torrential downpours. Okay, I can tell you that I personally wouldn't be doing it. And I'm going to go on the auspices is, is Phil Antonelli going to go outdoor dining to get wet? No, thank you. I'd rather stay home for another day. Now, that's not to hurt or slight anybody that's trying to open up. But I'm saying if the weather is not cooperating, you're not opening. Okay, and God willing. You know, we talked about this yesterday as a group. God willing, within the next 4 to 6 weeks, the governor comes to his senses and just says, go back to normal. And maybe you keep the outdoor dining. I don't know. I can't even answer that type of a question because, again, all uncharted waters here. But you go back to normal. You go back to inside seating and dining, and everyone goes on happily ever after. Truthfully.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you.
All right. Jim, are you okay with that?
Absolutely. I'm an advocate to get all these people back in business. I think all you guys know that, especially on the city side. And so, but I have health concerns and we'll just monitor. That's all I can say. We'll be in touch. That's all.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. I appreciate that. How long do you anticipate the 10 o'clock curfew?
I would say we're going to try to, I would say we're going to do this for a week.
Okay.
And
okay. Our business.
Yep.
Our business, the high volume in a village usually is from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Okay. So, I mean, at 10 o'clock, I mean, I'll do whatever it takes at this point, but just keep in mind that, that extra hour would help us a lot. I mean, but I'm happy with 10 o'clock for now, and we'll go from there.
All right. I appreciate that. It's all a learning curve.
All right. We're in the same boat.
I know.
So I appreciate you guys extending it an extra hour, and that will help us a lot. That will help us a lot. The extra hour will definitely help us a lot. It's still not where we want to be, like I said, but it certainly help us,
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, and to take advantage of your statement that this is a learning curve, it's also a learning curve for me. With respect to the alcohol itself and the serving of alcohol, is that straight until 10 o'clock or is there a last pour time?
Like I tell everything else. 10 o'clock I would say last call should be 9:30. No one should be, having a mixed alcohol drink and or a beer at 9:45. Okay. And let me just stress this, okay? And I'm trying to keep this above board. 10 o'clock's 10 o'clock. Whereas, we say you have a 1 o'clock in the morning license and you're supposed to be cleaned up and everyone's out the door at 1 o'clock. That holds true, okay? 10 o'clock, I'm not saying, I don't want people in there at 11 and start getting noise complaints. But if it's 10, 15, I'm okay with that. I don't want to get a call next week, someone telling me someone's open at 11 and at 12 o'clock, okay? I can't have that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I'd like to make a motion on the closing time.
yes,
So I'd like to make a motion that for the special outdoor permits, at this point in time, we keep them at 10 PM with, agreed with what you just said, a 9:30 PM last call. And then we could, we're regularly going to have these meetings, so I would suggest that possibly the next meeting we can evaluate as more businesses go on. But at this point, make a motion in favor of 10 PM closing.
okay, I second that motion.
Phil Laura,
Yes.
Phil Antonelli.
Yes. And that's pretty good. I have to give you kudos on that. Jump right in. Good job.
That was a good catch.
See, I'm
Annette.
paying attention.
All right. All right. So let's across the board, let's keep this for 10 o'clock right now. And let's see if we go. Okay. And hold on a second. As you can see, I'm getting texts and I'm trying to do the Zoom. You guys are too good for me, let me tell you. So from that standpoint, Jim, John Lopes and Liz, you're okay. You can stay on and listen and be part of this. And if you have any other questions, concerns, feel free. Okay?
Can we just have one more question? Can we serve on regular glasses or does it have to be plastic out there?
Plastic glasses. I should have mentioned that too. Everything needs to be plastic outside.
As far as glasses, okay.
Okay? No, beers need to be poured out of the bottle into plastic too. Okay? I should have said that earlier. I apologize.
If we have cans,
I'm okay with cans. Phil, Laura, are you okay with cans?
Yes, I'm fine with cans. Cans, plastic.
Thank you.
I think that was my only question. So I think I'm all set. If you guys are cool with us.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, John. Thanks, Liz.
Thank you.
Next, hold on a minute. Is night shift on?
Yes, night shift is on.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So why don't you give us a little preview of what you're trying to do?
Yeah, it'll mirror. Should be fairly familiar. It'll mirror kind of our setup that we would do in years past when we have larger events. Obviously, this year we will be, or this summer we will be adhering to the coronavirus guidelines from the governor. So we'll be, capping groups at 6 and making sure all of our tables and groups are 6 feet apart at all times. We have a mock layout I can share with you all if you'd like to see that on, if I could share my screen, I'd be happy to do so. But I'll defer to you if you want to see that. But yeah, we were looking to go out into our parking lot, occupy our full parking lot to get people as much space as possible so they can enjoy our beers outside.
Okay. What are you doing for food?
Our food would be the charcuterie or hummus, at least to start some of the more substantial offerings that we currently offer. And then potentially bring our food truck over. But to start, it would be our more substantial retail food offerings.
Okay. Phil, or any questions for night shift?
Yeah, the only, again, to touch on the insurance, I didn't see anything for insurance, so Tony, I don't know if you have it. But if you just wanna, if not, follow up with that. Other than that, no, night shift, their area is kind of already separated for their regular business, so I assume it's the same thing, what you have behind your barriers right now.
Correct.
So it's just extended the way that we normally have for like big festival days into the back part of the parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah, no question.
So let me mention this to you. It was brought to my attention, and I'm gonna ask, are you people planning to do some things with a beer kegerator of some sort?
Yes, so we have a beer trailer that we normally have at our beer gardens down in Boston that we put into the parking lot for now. And that's basically just to eliminate the need for people to go inside the building. So our staff will be able to stay outside the entire time, serve from outdoors.
Did you say that was in a truck?
It's a trailer.
Do you have pictures of that you can
Of
share?
it.
Do you have pictures of that you can share?
Yeah,
Right now-
let me pull up. I have a photo I can share. Let me get this going to you.
While we're waiting, we do have the insurance on file. It was created earlier this month as part of the application.
We also have a question about music. On the application, it said that no music permits are available, but we already have a music permit for our patio. So are we allowed to play music from the speakers that already exist outdoors?
You can use your existing permits as they existed prior to this shutdown. Phil, I did talk to Matt a little bit about the expanded use of licenses under the ABCC. So
Yes.
if you want, through you, if you want to
Mhm.
ask him if that beer truck is already previously licensed, that's probably an important piece of information, right?
It has to be a card been licensed before, Matthew,
Yes, yeah.
and you've used it.
We've
down-
used it. We've used it for the last 2 seasons at our Charles River Esplanade location in Boston. If we get the green light from the DCR, we will move it down there at a later date. But the primary reason we wanted to use it, in our Everett parking lot on the existing patio footprint that we already have licensed, is to make sure that our staff are outside as much as possible, since all the guidance we've received is that the transmission of this virus is significantly less outdoors. So we want to make sure that our staff and our customers are as safe as possible.
We've also used the trailer in Everett in the past for festivals.
Yeah.
I think probably 4 or 5 times in the past 2 years.
I'm gonna be honest, and like I always tell everybody, if I don't know or I don't get a call, I don't see it, I don't go bothering, I don't come looking. I'm not that type of a person. I ain't gonna be honest with you. Has it been there before? Could have very well been there. Again, this is all uncharted waters for everybody. Okay? Everyone's hurting, everyone's in the same boat, everyone's in the same predicament. I feel if I allow you, this is Phil Antonelli saying this, okay? I haven't had discussion with Phil, Laura. If we were in a meeting room, it might, we'd all be sitting here, so I'm gonna refer to him and see what his thoughts are. Personally, that gives, how do I tell John Lopes, I'll use him or Bear Moose or Bone Up. Don't put a cooler outside I don't want my guys going inside to serve and pour. We're gonna put a cooler outside and we're gonna serve out of a cooler, and I don't want that. The last thing I need for any of these, any establishment, and I'm not saying night shift is I don't need to become a gong show, okay? This isn't an outdoor party. This is a beer, this is a restaurant and tap rooms that are trying to strum up business. And I'm not insinuating that there's funny business going on, but I want to keep a level playing field for everybody. So if you would, what I'm asking is I'd rather you not use the beer kegerator. It might be licensed in Boston, it's been used at Village Fest, I can understand that, but just on an everyday operation, I'm not in favor of it. Phil, what's your thoughts?
I don't know what it looks like. For me, it has to be secured and stuff like that. I don't know what it looks like. And to be quite honest, I'd rather see it before I say we're gonna use it. So, if you could have it on site, but not being used. And one day we could swing by and then make a determination. Because the thing is that, like the chairman just said, everybody's gonna ask for this or could ask for this. And there's gotta be one set ways to do this. And we don't want, like the chairman said, having one person in a cooler, another person having more secured. So I'd say no at this point until we kind of get a look at it and see if it's a good standard that everybody could use, and then go from there.
Yeah, it is currently stationed in our parking lot. So if you want to come by anytime and take a look at it, again, it's there right now and we can open it up, show it to you. Again, it's basically a trailer that's got taps out of the side of it. It completely closes at the end of the night. It is secure, but I completely understand if you want to come by and take a look, and we can show you around.
Yeah, if you guys are around tomorrow afternoon, I can swing by tomorrow afternoon, take a look at it, take some pictures, and then I'll discuss it with the chairman and we'll make a decision. It's like he said, this is all new to us. We need to kind of put together some standards. If that's secure and it's a good idea and everybody else can replicate it, sure, why not? But let's not use it now until we really have a better idea.
Okay, we are hoping to open at noon tomorrow, but we can open without it to start. What time would you like to come by?
Well, I'll be by around that time.
Okay.
I don't know what time, tomorrow I have a couple of personal things going on, so I don't know what time, but if you meet with Phil.
I'll take some pictures, Mr. Chairman, and maybe even get you a lot of information about it, and then we'll just see, is that a standard? Is that something that will allow for everybody, or if it's not going to be used at all?
Totally understand. I appreciate that.
We can also send over photos and specs as well.
I'd appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, well, we can pass on photos after this meeting via email. And I just want to assure you all, this trailer has been spent 2 summers on the Esplanade, 24 hours a day. It's locked, it's secure. We haven't had any issues with breaking in, and we're not doing it in any way to make it more of a party atmosphere. We're purely employing it to provide a better safety margin for our staff.
Okay.
Okay. Jeff, if you would be willing to wait on this call, I have an issue that I need to take. Annette, are we having another meeting on Monday night? Did you invite night shift?
I did, and I didn't put night shift on there because they were on tonight.
Okay, so night shift, can you wait, Matt? I need to go over something with you through the state if all possible. And I'm trying, I'm trying to pull it up on my cell phone. It's nothing, it's something I need to, Annette, can you resend that to me if you have it, please? Annette?
Hold on, I do have it printed. Do you want the dates?
Yeah, can you just send me send me a screenshot of it, please?
Okay, I will. Hang on 1 second.
All right. Who else do we have? We have Ferry Street Bar and Grill. Richard, you ready to tell me what you're doing, Rich?
Sure. So We've been, like everybody, we've been closed for the past 12, 13 weeks. And as you know, my mom runs the diner and it's mostly indoors and, very little to goes. And on our first, try to dip our toes in, we decided to put in a service window out in the back. And we've been getting some relatively good response for that. But when you guys brought, when things started to move towards phase 2, we realized that the outdoor patio space is probably going to be something that's going to be better for our clientele, because a lot of people like to sit and eat their breakfast in the morning and go to wherever they're going. So we set out a plan. We essentially, what we're going to do is we got lucky that we have a pretty big parking lot that we can use a lot of space. We're to the right side of the building. We're basically taking 20 by 50 section so we can fit about 10 tables in that area, all blocked off with, cement block and planters in 16-foot sections, and then 8-foot sections of bench, all built into the ground. Jim's had his eyes on it. Tony's had his eyes on it. It's something that I think is going to be a good plan for us. And in this interim, I think it's a smart time for us to start to exercise our license a bit more and maybe use those later hours, just to try to recoup and save this place for
Richard,
all the losses.
come out. Let me intervene as you just said that, because I've been trying to have this conversation with your father.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
need that license, to be honest with you. That license needs to go and needs to stop being used. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm getting a lot of pressure from a lot of people within City Hall because it's a pocket license. You got, you want to open and serve mimosas on a Sunday, and then it's a 7-day license and there's no dinner. I need the license to go to a full function. So
absolutely. We're investing so much on this outdoor space that it's cost effective for us.
And we're going to be opening it because we have to,
all right. I please, I think I've been more than, myself and Phil have been more than cooperative, and I'm getting pushback. So please, okay.
Yeah.
What's this going
Not
on?
us.
What's hold on. What's this going on here? Tony, you doing this?
Nope.
Tony.
Not Tony.
No, Mr. Chairman, no.
Who's doing that?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, that was Matt from Night Shift.
Oh, Matt, all right. I'm that's
my computer's
listen,
all laggy.
I'm lucky to know how to use. I'm lucky to know how to use Zoom. I'm saying, what the hell's going on here? I haven't keep my away from the button. My kids are upstairs, so I don't know what's.
Apology accepted.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. All right. So, Richie, go ahead. Continue on.
Yeah, so we plan on doing everything that the state guidelines have been and you guys have set forth with full service at the tables. We're probably going to be doing, assortments of, we're working on finalizing the menu this week with, maybe some pizzas and small, plated foods. We have decided to go all paper for the diner anyway. So that's something it's just going to be all paper and plastic.
Okay.
And yeah, we're excited. We're pretty excited about this. This is a good time and opportunity to, utilize the space outside and really get going on this. So.
Okay. Phil, do you have any questions or concerns?
Well, Tony, I want to thank you. They did send Jersey barriers, and we already put them in and blocked the High Street entrance because, as you well know, there's an incredible amount of traffic that cuts through. So, and we're also, the design shuts off one of the two entrances on Ferry Street, and we will block the other one every night so that people do not enter and go through the parking lot.
So it essentially becomes a one-way, and when we decide to when we close at night, we block it off so that there's no way in and out of the parking lot, just to keep everything safe.
Yeah, because even while we're building it, they're trying to cut through the parking lot.
Yeah, so those barriers have helped a great deal, and we really appreciate that.
All right.
So the, Mr. Chairman, the diagram, the application says 10 tables, the diagram shows 9. Then there's something else, two little tables that looks like it's an inside.
No, there's there's a handicapped ramp entrance in there. We've, those tables were in question, but the angles aren't going to work. So we're not going to use those tables there. I know what you were talking about, close to the building where there's two lines.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was just to mark where our handicapped ramp is. And it's too steep to put tables on there anyway. So we kind of reconfigured it a little bit.
okay, so you're going to use your space that's on this diagram, but just put 10 tables? Is that what you're gonna do?
Yes, we've reconfigured them so that the 6 foot radiuses work much better now. If you swing by tomorrow, we've already started putting all the planters in.
Yeah, I kind of swung by today. I took a look, but
Yeah.
it's at the beginning. But I just wanted to clarify where the table's gonna be, so that's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, like I said, we're going to be working on it tomorrow, if you want to stop by and we can draw it out for you, so you have full clarity. But it's pretty close to what that drawing is, besides those tables with the angle.
Okay. That's fine with me. Mr. Souza, you okay with that? With Ferry Street, are you all set with them?
Yes, everything looks in good order from my end.
Jim, are you okay?
Good order from my end.
Okay. I appreciate that. Okay, Richie, you're all set.
Great,
All right,
thanks.
thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on here?
Ask me. You still have Bear Moose and Abundanza.
Abundanza, Joe, you here?
Bear Moose,
Dan Moose, are you here? No?
Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to give, if I may, if you'd like, an update with respect to Abundanza, and I do have the application from Bear Moose as
Okay,
well.
I'm listening to you.
With
Why don't we
respect,
do this? Mr. Souza, can you give me 1 minute?
sure.
Yeah, let me, no, what I'm gonna say is, if no one else is here, Matt, are you there still?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do is, again, we get a report, just to let you know, Tony, I only want to do this quickly so they don't have to hang on. We get a report from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts called the Last Drink Report, where people are pretty much, they're proven guilty of drinking and driving, and they're asked of where they had their last drink. Okay, Annette just sent this to me, and I don't have my regular laptop, and I can't pull it on my phone, but I'm just letting you know that someone got caught drinking and driving, and they said their last drink was at Night Shift Brewing. I can't.
Okay.
Okay, so like anything else, we're not the authority. It's information that's provided to myself and Phil and, Annette and to Keith, okay? And we need to bring it to your attention.
Of course.
This is the first time, I'll be honest with you, since you've been in business, that someone has ever, knock on wood, been stopped for drinking and driving. So I think we need to, as you grow and expand, we need to watch, people's tolerance, okay? And how much they're consuming, okay? I'm not the police. I'm not coming down and, giving breathalyzers, but we gotta, these IPA beers are a lot different than a Coors Light and a Miller Lite. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a 2-to-1 factor, and that's okay. I'm not, and people should know what their consumption is. And I'm not saying you're allowing someone to come staggering out there, because if you do, I would hope you would say, hey, can't get behind the wheel and let me get you a cab or an Uber or a Lyft or whatever it is, So that being said, just, we were having a meeting Monday night. You don't have to appear, and we'll go from there. And once I get a firm date, we'll call you and let you know. When I say a firm,
Yeah.
I don't have it on my, I want to say, they tell me, the day the person got picked up, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so yeah, I just want to say, I'm very sorry to hear that, and we do everything possible to make sure that our consumers are being responsible. But we would certainly like to learn more if there's any information that can be shared, so we can take corrective action on our end and retrain our staff if needed. you know, take any learnings from this incident, because we take this very seriously, and it's not something that we you know, want to see happen again.
I understand. And so that's why I asked you to stay on, but I appreciate your time. I'll get you, once I can log onto my regular laptop, we'll next time we have a meeting, we'll call down to you and we'll go from there.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And again, all of our bartenders are tip certified, and we offer Uber or Lyft rides for guests that have appeared to be overconsumed. So we certainly would like to learn more about this if possible, and prevent it from happening again.
All right. The other thing is too, I want to take a vote on your license. What I was going to say is, Matt, if we get, if Phil feels that it's a go with the beer kegerator, I'm going to have you fill out a special permit for that, if possible. And there's probably, you know, $100 fee for that. But let me just get with Phil. Would you be?
Yeah,
okay with that?
I could share my screen now. Actually, since it worked unexpectedly a few minutes ago, I could show you guys photos if you want, or we can wait till tomorrow, whatever you guys prefer. And if the trailer isn't approved, I'm assuming we're still allowed to pour out of our annex bar as usual, or
Okay.
tap room.
You want to share it?
Sure.
Okay.
And so I don't know if you can see the photos here. This is the trailer.
I see it.
The trailer back here. Another shot here where you have the roll-up windows. The taps are behind this window right here. It's secure. They all lock. Let me see if I can get another angle. This is the door where the kegs are stored. Again, there's a lock on this as well. And so this trailer has lived down on the Charles River Esplanade for the last 2 summers. So it's,
Okay.
we haven't had any issues with break-ins. It's been very secure. And you can see we have in this photo right here, I can make it a little bit bigger. This is the trailer. This is called our Whirlpool trailer. We have 2 of them. One of them would be there permanently.
And where's that going to be positioned?
As shown in this photo, up against the wall. It would be on the side edge of the footprint where our existing patio was, the smaller patio, before we expanded it out. And actually, you can see in this photo here, this is the full parking lot layout. This was taken 2 days ago. So this is pretty much what the layout would look like once we are in service. Here's an overhead view here. This would be the draft trailer up against the building. The annex is over here where our existing bar is. Again, the main point here was to eliminate the need for our staff to go inside and outside to grab beers. Again, everything we've heard is the coronavirus transmission outside is significantly less. So that was our rationale. If for whatever reason it can't be approved, we'd be happy to just serve out of the annex as we normally do.
Phil, if I may, through you, can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course you can.
It's actually more of a statement. So if you are considering allowing a special permit, it still wouldn't change. I think the fact that the ABCC's ruling is nobody can be served at a bar, I would consider that trailer a bar. So you would have to have staff serve seated patrons from that.
Yes, sorry for interrupting. The coronavirus protocols would not be changed. So consumers would only be getting up from their tables if they have to use the restroom. And of course they would be masked. We were going to be doing table service no matter what. And we've even stationed barrels about a couple feet away from the table, so our staff can reach and put the beer or food onto the barrels. And they're even further away from the customer at that point. Again, purely for coronavirus spread control.
Yeah, I have no idea in talking to you, Matt, that you'll be fully prepared. I just felt obligated to say that at the meeting that that protocol would need to be followed, and
of course,
and the board should consider that in giving out any special permits.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. So Matt, you're all set. We're all set with you. Phil will be in it tomorrow. Be down tomorrow at some point.
Okay. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else?
Did you guys vote, Phil, on his permit?
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
No,
Phil,
no, no.
can you make a motion, please, for night shift license, please?
Motion for the special permit?
Yes.
So
So,
motion for the expansion of the original permit and then to consider a special permit. Those are two different things. Sorry, guys, I'm just want to make sure we get this right.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for an expansion of the existing permit.
Second it.
Bill, 1.
Yes.
Bill, 2.
Yes. Our motion's passed, so you're all set from that standpoint, Matt.
Thank you very much. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you. Mr. Souza,
Yes,
well,
So,
are there any other bars or establishments?
I believe there are 2 items remaining. Abu Danza and Abu Danza and Bear Moose.
Yes, Mr. Souza, go ahead. You have the floor.
So with respect to Abu Danza, I've just asked it to be continued. We have not received a site plan from the applicant. Although he did submit an application and was contemplating putting 5 tables and 10 chairs out in front. And by out in front, at one point looking at the sidewalk, at another point looking at extending out into the parking spaces directly in front. And he's working with my office, those parking spaces out in front, simply like a conversion, sort of what we saw at the 810 about 2 years ago, the whole parklet concept, using it for a combination public space or even passage sometimes. So waiting on a site plan with his exact intention, and hopefully the app can get it over to us in the near future, so we can have him before you if that's still his desire to have outdoor seating, outdoor dining there. Bear Moose.
Just,
Yep.
this is just really us speaking. And I had this conversation I spoke with Phil Laura about today. Told him that we may, Jim, are you still here? Jim? I take it he's gone?
I think that's just
Still on,
a
it might be muted.
picture.
There's 2 Jims, so one of them should answer.
Where's Soap? Yeah, Jim Soap. He's got 2 things up here. Where is he?
He might be, he might have taken a break for a minute. He might be back. There he
Okay,
is.
that's fine.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
No, no,
I'm
no.
listening to everything you say.
Yeah.
I know you're talking.
No, no, I'm just, no, I want to concur. We talked about yesterday because I talked to Phil Laura today. Everyone's off. It's just us now, city employees.
Oh, I'm eating dinner with my family actually, so that's why I was a little late.
Oh, I'm
Getting back
sorry.
to-
No, you want to go?
No, I'm here till you guys are done. You know what I mean? Because I got to switch off the YouTube stuff.
Oh, all right. So Phil Laura had voiced the same type of concerns I did against Joe Abendanza, okay?
Yeah, he's out in the street. It's crazy.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying someone's gonna come back to a different licensing board and say something, but I don't wish this for anybody. The way people are nowadays, I don't trust someone normal, never mind with the drugs and alcohol abuse that's out there. You just on something. You have their back to a Jersey barrier. I don't think the city of Everett benefits putting anybody out in the middle of a street. I don't see a middle street in a gutter with a Jersey
Especially Main
barrier.
Street. Especially Main Street.
Yeah, that's just me. Okay. Now,
I'm with you, Phil, though.
I would say this. I would say the same thing to him. Say, Joe, do you really need this aggravation? Not that I'm trying to take business away from him, but let's look at the overall picture, Joe. I understand you're going from 2 to 5 tables, but does this really make sense in your part of Gulfport? There's a problem here because you're opening yourself up to a major liability.
Well, they're going to be taking.
I think the only comment is when we first envisioned this, the mayor, the concession he was willing to make, especially on the main thoroughfares where they didn't have the sidewalk space. And one of the reasons I think we got the jury barriers, and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was to be able to utilize the sidewalk for dining, possibly remove parking spots for pedestrian passage if that.
I like that idea.
And then use Jersey barriers to protect those pedestrians from the street. Not exactly sure how that plan plays out in real life, but I do know that was a stated vision. So.
Yeah, I was looking at it today when I drove by, and just the Jersey barriers, if you put them in, it's gonna get tight. So I'd like to see some of those set up, because that's, again, it's the main road, right? It's not like some of the smaller roads and stuff like that. I'd like to see an example set up before we start doing anything on these large roads, these busy roads.
So if I may, and having worked on parklets in the past, this is nothing new. And having that variation, so perhaps it's having the pedestrian access going through the parking spaces. I'm sorry, having the pedestrian passage going through the parking spaces through an elevated platform. It's something that can be done, but it certainly can't be accommodated in every location. As it was noted earlier, there are situations where not all roadways are designed the same. There may be situations where it is either too congested, or there's a high speed in the area, or areas that are prone to flooding, for example, as well. But it's definitely something that if a business is willing to explore that option, it's something that we should certainly look at, but certainly in the context of public safety, which is critically important. But certainly something that that I think, not only think, we've seen it done in other communities as well. But it has to be done properly. And I completely agree that there should be some sketch and also some markup of it on site as well. And again, it's not simply tables and chairs and parking spaces. The parking space itself could serve as a loop around, if you will, to the tables and chairs, if you will, on the sidewalk or so. We've seen in other communities, we've seen in you know, yes, Main Street is a busy street, but that's, you know, part of our business corridor, like Norwood and Broadway. There are ways to do it, but there are other times where it just may not work, and it's very site specific. So we're willing to explore it alongside with business owners, with restaurant and the eateries. Likewise for parking lots. Now, those that came before us were on private parking lots, but also to think of perhaps our municipal lots when appropriate, to allow for expansion of outdoor dining as well. Not saying that it will work in every situation, no, not at all. But just having the willingness to consider it. We're going to have an open mind on these, and certainly, you know, appreciate the willingness of this board to consider them as well. So hopefully we'll be able to say, you know, we've done the best and offered various options to these individuals. We tried different options, we explored different options, and just trying to do the best we can to enhance, you know, the streetscape, to enhance Everett Square. You know, so much investment's been done, and when we have done sidewalk, we will be doing sidewalk expansions, but not in every case does it work out so perfectly. By providing these other options, using the municipal lots, especially when if they're underutilized and where appropriate, to allow the businesses to expand or create maker space, you know, on the weekends, whether it's Everett Square or Glendale Square. These are important things, and these are things that, you know, again, that you know, we're charged with looking at from my bubble, from my department, and so on, and look forward to working with you folks and with the other departments as we have in the past in the city, to see, you know, it's a little bit out of the box, but it's not so out of the box where it's such a foreign concept. I think we can do some good here, and looking forward to working with you folks on it as well. With that, Mr. Chairman, the last one that I have in my notes is Beer Moose, and I do believe the group does have the application.
Okay.
He did apply for his food permit today, and he sent an email saying that he dropped the check off at City Hall for Beer Moose.
Beer Moose on that?
Beer Moose, yes.
Okay, Tony, you know anything else about that?
Well, the application was submitted to the members with respect to the check being submitted today. City Hall was opened. It was not sent to me, so I trust it was delivered to ISD. The actual application, this applicant is looking to do outdoor seating in the parking lot with maintain the 6-foot distance between the tables and chairs, going out approximately 12 feet or so into the lot. And for barrier, they are using some type of rope barrier around the perimeter. There's a photo of it at the end of the application.
Retail dividers, retail dividers.
Thank you. Yes.
They use them in the movie theaters and stuff like that. Is that all they're planning to use to rope that off? Because those easily, if I'm familiar with those, someone could easily just unstrap it and strap it back.
So that's all that they have provided, and certainly we can condition that they provide more substantial barriers if desired.
The applicant's not on the Zoom, right? Were they planning on joining, or?
I'm not aware if they were planning on joining, no.
You know, the applicants aren't here. I would say let's move forward and, you know, continue their hearing
Yeah,
All right.
I agree.
and adjourn.
Okay, from any other questions, but from our standpoint, meeting can adjourn. Phil, Laura, you all set?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, and that, anything?
No, does Bear Moose and Abundante have to be on another meeting or are they okay?
No, they should join a meeting.
So,
Continue there, vote to continue.
Okay, well, so we can vote to continue, but let me ask one question. Are we meeting next week on Tuesday night?
we're meeting on Monday night for Monte Cristo and a couple others for the OUIs. But as far as for outside dining, we were planning on doing a Thursday meeting. Right.
Are we all set with that still, Jim, next Thursday?
I would like to meet on a Thursday night basis. I'm sure Tony would as well on a regular, so we can bring these new applicants forward. So Thursday, I would say push Tuesday to, or push Monday to Thursday.
Yeah, why don't we do that in that? You want to notify these people on Monday, just come Thursday?
Well, Monday didn't have anything to do with
I know that, but we
with
can,
outside dining.
we could
Yeah.
take them at the end and move on with our life.
That's no problem. And, you know, expeditious, you know, government is the best. Right, Tony?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just for clarity, for my understanding, are we requiring the applicants to appear before the board?
That, just so you know, the ABCC actually doesn't require that for expedited purposes. So Phil, you don't have to have them come in. It's good that they come in, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, we don't have to, but it'd be nice just to hear what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always open the meeting and vote to deny too.
Yeah, for their lack of attendance, you can.
Right, absolutely.
But that requirement just is one of they have these expedited rules. Even towns, cities and towns get treated differently under that. Towns can actually, because of the way towns are set up administratively, towns can actually take executive powers over emergency orders over boards of licensure. We don't have that rule in cities, but that's just a little Cliff Clavin note for you.
Thanks, Cliff.
So we're gonna make a motion to continue next Thursday night. June 18th,
Phil,
I believe.
Phil, the
Second.
Monday night meeting, all the notifications have already been sent out.
Okay, so we'll have a meeting Monday night. Not everyone has to attend. Keith, Phil, and myself can do it.
Right.
But do I need Jim to administer it? Who's
Yeah,
gonna?
yeah, I gotta be here to administer it, so.
Are you on
No.
vacation?
Well, Jim
No,
can give opinions prior
Oh,
to the meeting.
I'm on vacation right now, actually.
Jim, the Monday night meeting Kevin set up for me.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
So
Yeah, Jim,
you don't have to
can-
be in that one.
Oh, and this, you could, Jim could just lend opinions like anyone else prior to the meeting if you tied up or something.
I just wanted to make sure it was produced on YouTube. That's all. Tonight.
Oh,
You're
right.
Live, so that was the issue.
Oh, yeah, we're still
But
live.
Kev's doing that.
Mr.
All right, so
Chairman,
we're gonna meet next Monday night, and then we're gonna continue next Thursday night with any outdoor seating on venue.
Gotcha.
Right. Mondays is on Facebook, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Is Mondays 7 or 6?
7.
7.
I thought
All
they were at-
right.
I thought they were at 6.
No, mine's at 7 because he has a Board of Health at 6.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to
Yes.
make a motion for us to continue Beer Moose and Abundanza and ask for them to join Thursday's meeting. I think that's the 18th.
I second that. God bless the baby.
Yeah, he's yelling at the
Bill,
other
I think your
side.
son
We're all
just
eating
heard
together.
that.
That's not my son, that's Jim's grandson.
That's my grandson on the other end of the table.
Oh,
Now, let's take a vote.
Nicholas is in bed. Annette,
what are we voting on?
A motion to continue Abundanza and Beer Moose to next
have another
Thursday.
vodka, Annette.
Uh,
Yeah, what's in
sorry,
that
it's
green cup?
tequila. It's tequila.
Yeah.
I've
Great.
seen Janny and Kim back there somewhere.
It
There's
was
Jane is here.
roll
Hey,
call.
here's Jane.
Rolling
there's
around on the
Kim.
floor.
Bill Deloro.
Yes.
Bill Antonelli.
Yes. All right,
Bill, motion passed.
he's passed.
Motion
See
to
everyone
adjourn.
Monday night.
All right, guys. Well, have a good night.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Have a
thank you.
good night.
All right,
Been
take care.
entertaining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Did he
night.
say thank you for the entertainment? Who said that? He loves that.
Oh, canceling the
Bye, gentlemen.
Good night.
I'm home.